Dr. Betty. Dr. Betty Uribe, I just want to introduce everyone to this amazing woman, powerful leader. This is a powerful woman. Not only is her new book out, I'm going to put this right here, #Values, the secret to top-level performance in business and life. Dr. Betty Uribe, this book was, first of all, endorsed by the Vatican, because this is talking about values in business and life. And she is Fortune's top 50 Latinas in business. So yeah, give it up for Dr. Betty Uribe. And a mentor to me, and a mentor to so many women who are looking to take their life to the next level, but in a way that is compassionate, loving, connected. You represent all of that. You are a powerhouse in business. You're is it the senior vice president or the vice president? Executive vice president for California Bank and Trust. She's the executive vice president for California Bank and Trust. And she presents herself, and her ways of being are in such a powerful but feminine, loving, connected way. And I'm so excited to bring her here to talk about her book, #Values. So Dr. Betty, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you, Alicia. It's such a pleasure to be here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. And I want you to share the biggest takeaways. You're talking to a group of women who want to take their life to the next level financially in business. What are some of the tips that you want to share with them today?
So before I tell you the tips, I think I should tell you what I do for a living. I run a $3.5 billion operation in Southern California, and I do turnarounds in banking, and I got hired to do a turnaround at California Bank and Trust after having done another turnaround. The basis for my book is my dissertation, and I interviewed different people from all over business. I'm also an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 19 years old, and it was an engineering and manufacturing company. Kaiser Permanente's Gynecological Light is my light. So I am one of you. I am also an entrepreneur, and I think it's important for you to know that, as well as I am a mother of 3, and my daughter Alexandria is getting married next month. So life is happening for me as well as for all of you. So I am a mother, I am a sister, I have a brother who's terminally ill, and I'm also dealing with that right now. So life is happening in my life right now, and it's important for you to know all of this, because when people say to you, when people sit here, you only see the image, but you don't see the brokenness. And it's important for you to know, I'm hurting right now. My brother's dying. And I'm very excited because my daughter's getting married all at the same time. And I'm running a $3.5 billion business. And I have the book. And I have speaking engagements. And I love my children to death. And so all of us have a lot. How many of you have a lot going on in your life? So we're all in the same place. There's no difference between you and I. I'm an immigrant. I came from Bogota, Colombia when I was 12 years old. I didn't speak English. My mother brought us here because my father was an alcoholic. How many of you have any type of addiction in your family line or anywhere? Okay, then you understand that. And we came to this country, and I cleaned houses and babysat. When I came here, I had to learn how to do all of that. My dad was a millionaire, but he was an alcoholic and used to beat up my mom. So a lot of things went into this book, in addition to my personal life. My dissertation is on values-based leadership, and I interviewed generals from the White House and the Pentagon. I got into the White House, and I got into the Pentagon. Now, I'm Facebook Live right now, and I'm sure my daughter Alexandra is watching. And I will tell you, when they are with me, when I'm speaking, it's wonderful because they can actually say, yes, that's how mommy is, or that's how my mommy is. So God, family, job, it's important. But my job is a platform. I see my job as a platform for being able to make a difference all over the world. I've been in different places. I've been in Kenya, giving scholarships for kids because that's my passion. And in Luxembourg, I'm scheduled to speak to the Grand Duke and the royal family and the Prime Minister about values, and in different places around the world. And it's just been wonderful. But so the job for me, it's an opportunity to really make a difference for people, and it's a wonderful platform. And I just happen to be working for a company that aligns with my values. It's a family business. It started as a family business, and it's important for me to align myself with everyone around me, everybody that I choose to be around. They will align with my values. You have a couple of friends over here, Lisa and Michelle, right over here, and right here in the front. And absolutely, they align with my values. I would not be with them or presenting or associated with anything that's not. Tell me who you're with, and I will tell you who you are. Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. That's something that I learned back home in Bogota from my mother. And so think about that, and my children know that.
Ooh, tell me who you're with, and I'll tell you who you are. Tell me who you're with, and I'll tell you who you are. Wow, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with. So that's powerful.
It is. It's huge. And it's about respecting ourselves. And this goes for men and women, for all of you. How many times have you settled in your life? How many times have you said, oh, well, this is good enough? How many times has somebody come to you and giving you something that is mediocre, and you said, oh, that's okay? You define what happens in your life and how the people are going to react to you. If someone comes to me and gives me mediocre or gives me less than their 100%, what happens?
You send it back?
In a very loving way, I say, is this your very best? You're better than this.
You're taking a stand for people.
I'm taking a stand for myself first, because I am about integrity for myself first. And if I say I'm about values and my actions are not congruent with that, then my word means nothing. First of all, to me, and second to others. So it's important that we really take a stand for whatever it is that we believe in, because however we act in our lives and whatever we receive and settle for from others, that's what we're going to get. That's why Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres is so powerful. That's why it's so powerful. And it has nothing to do with gender. Lisa, Michelle, and I are putting together an international forum with leaders all around the world. And the focus of this forum, and we have people in Luxembourg, and we have people in different countries already. We have somebody who was supposed to be the Prime Minister of Israel, who's also part of the forum. And the whole focus of this forum is to stop the competition and to realize that you don't have to compete against somebody else. And it doesn't matter if they're men or they're women or whoever, your best competition is yourself.
That's abundance. That's abundance. Absolutely. Collaboration, not competition. Finding your voice, that's another one of the core values.
Absolutely.
And specifically, you are championing a movement to have, what is it 20 by 20? 20% of boards, nonprofit and corporate boards, to have 20% of those women, 20% of those boards to have, all of those boards to have 20% women on the boards. I think I got it that time.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Well, I'm part of a group of ladies in Los Angeles and it's actually a national group. And if you think about the boards, the for-profit boards around the country, most of them are with men. And I want to pause for a moment because I am not into the women's movement. It may sound like I am, but I'm not. I'm very much a lady, and I love being a woman. I think it's exquisite to be brilliant, to be feminine, and to be able to sit at the table and collaborate with men, and to appreciate the value they bring to the table, and collaborate and lock arms with them, and appreciate the strength that a man brings to the table and the strength that I bring to the table, and realize that we can complement one another. So I want to make sure that you understand that I'm not against, you name it, the competition is with us. It's not with somebody else. It really is. But there is an opportunity for the feminine piece to come into corporate boards. And then in a corporate board is what really makes the difference in communities in our country. And so we are up to really educating women and men on what value does a woman bring to the table at the board. And I don't blame men for only choosing men to be on the board right now, because there's a place where you don't know what you don't know. I stood in front, I started my career with a very large company. We had 164,000 team members at the time. And I stood and talked to the CEO of this company, and they wanted to go out and bring in women that would fit the bill. And I said, well, have you looked at the workforce in the company? And this individual said, well, HR person, have we looked? And she said, actually, no. He didn't know what he didn't know. And I firmly believe that that is where people are coming from right now. And so it's up to people like me and people like you and people like a lot of us in this room to really go out and educate. But it's not just educating the women. It's educating the men and the women on the value that we both bring together. I just happen to have been brought up with boys. I have 3 brothers, and yes, I am the princess. I still am. And so I appreciate men in my life, and I appreciate the value they bring to the world.
Thank you for that distinction, because, and thank you. Yes, give her a round of applause. Because the movement is humanity and moving humanity forward.
Yes.
And we get to do that in collaboration.
Absolutely.
I mean, some of my biggest proponents and cheerleaders are men. And so I'm all about the human movement moving forward, and you represent that as well.
Absolutely.
And so with that, we would give away another book. Does anyone have at least 3 of their top values that they want to share? Oh, there we go. Come on up here. Kayla. Yes. Oh, actually, can we have that microphone? Thank you. So Kayla, what are your 3 values and anything that landed for you that Dr. Betty presented?
So my 3 values, well, I first had a question and then my 3 values. So far, because I'm 17 and I'm getting ready for college.
Kayla, can you hold out for just a moment? Shh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to be respectful of Kayla, and she has a question. Go ahead, Kayla.
It's just, I'm 17 and, I'm looking at colleges and stuff already. how would you say that I kind of stick with my values? Because it seems to change a lot, especially like from middle school and then going to high school and then now looking at colleges. And how would you say like I should like to stick with my values once I make them instead of switching them up? Because that is my biggest problem. Because my values were God, school, and then family, and then, you know, my social life. And then now it's like, now it's God, school, and then social life. And then it's like switching up, and then it goes in and out, like trying to do different things, and then like just being everywhere. And, you know, I just want to stick with my main values. How do I do that?
So,
It's a great
Kayla,
question.
I commend you for asking the question. I love it. First of all, have you already chosen your school?
I'm looking at UC Davis for veterinary school.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my main goal.
When you are looking for your school and when you're deciding upon the school, all of the schools have a different personality and different value system. It's really easy for us to settle, and I said that earlier, remember? Well, life can be really simple if we align everything according to our values. It can be very, very simple if we choose the man in our life that is according to our values, if we choose the business partner according to our values, if we choose to purchase a company according to our values, all of it, right? So if your question was, how do I align my values now that I'm in school? I will answer it in this way, and you tell me if I've answered your question, because I want to make sure this is a very critical question, not just for you, but for all of us here, correct? I am who I am in spite of where I am or with whom I am. Does that make sense?
You're bigger than your circumstances.
Exactly. So no matter where I am, if I get taken from where I am right now, which I was, from Bogota, Colombia, and I get transplanted into a totally different world with totally different people, does that change who I am? It doesn't. It shouldn't. It's the moment when we waver on what's most important to us that things begin to get complicated. It's the moment when we begin to say half-truths, or the moment when we allow people in our life that are not aligned with our values. So it's really simple. It's not always easy, but it's always simple. And I say this to my staff all the time, to my executive staff. It's always very simple. The decision is always very simple. And I have a decision model in my book that I came up with. That's actually what I added to the body of knowledge, is how do you make decisions in your life? You're going to be making a lot of decisions in school. Do I go out to dinner with this boy, or do I study? What's most important to you? So always come back to what's most important to you and make those decisions based on what's most important to you. Whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're a teenager or an 85-year-old, it doesn't matter. It's the same answer. Be who you are and honor yourself first so that others can feel that and be for you what you expect for yourself.
Beautiful.
Answered it really good.
Yes, thank you. And Kayla, a book for you. Make sure that Dr. Betty Uribe signs it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your question. And with that, I'd love for you to give one statement, one word of advice as we wrap up. First of all, everything that you said just resonated. What do you guys think about Dr. Betty Uribe? The power of values, and who she's being up here. Magnetic. What's one word of advice? or statement you want to leave everyone with?
On your deathbed, what is your epitaph going to be? I wrote my 80th birthday toast in my first weekend of my doctoral program. And I would ask you to do the same and really get centered on, at the end of your life, what are you going to toast to? And go back and write it out and map it out and figure out who is going to be around you when you do your 80th birthday toast. Where are you going to do it? I'm going to do it in Cocolizo. It's my favorite place on earth. Google it. Cocolizo, Cocoliso. It's a beautiful island in South America, just off the coast of Colombia. And who's going to be with me is my children, and they've already told me that they're going to pay their own way. Yay! And their spouses and their children and grandchildren, however. And we're going to toast to life. To life. My father used to toast to life, and my brother, who's currently dying, all of us toast to life together. To the people that God has allowed me to touch in a very deep way, and the people that they get to touch because it's a real movement all around the world. And to the opportunity that God will give me to have more years, if He chooses to, or if it's okay for me to have more years. And it's okay if I were to die today, it would be fine too. And just the opportunity to really significantly make it worthwhile that I was on this earth. That's my 80th birthday toast. I would invite you to do the same, to really get centered. At the end of your life, what's your epitaph going to be? Mine is really simple. She made a difference.